Some betrayals don't just break your heart. They redefine who you are. Mine came the day my wife walked out, leaving me alone with our 3 boys. She said she needed more, that I couldn't give her the life she deserved. She called it greener pastures. I called it abandonment. The night she left is burned into me. Our youngest clung to her leg, crying, begging her not to go. She peeled his hands away and promised she would visit soon. She never did. The boys cried themselves to sleep that night, while I sat in the dark, wondering how to be both father and mother when I barely felt like either. But time has a way of forcing you forward. I learned how to pack lunches, braid shoelaces, help with homework, and sit in the bleachers at every game. I burned dinners, missed work deadlines, and fell asleep on the couch countless nights. But we survived. The 3 boys grew into young men, each carrying scars from their mother's absence, but each shaped by the love and sacrifices I gave them. I thought I had done enough. I thought they knew who had been there for them. Years later, she returned, not alone, but with a new husband on her arm. He was polished, wealthy, and charming in a way that made people lean in when he spoke. He smiled as if he had earned the right to stand beside my sons. They came to me with their proposal, not from her, but from him. He wanted to adopt them. My sons, my flesh and blood, the boys I had raised through scraped knees and broken hearts, looked me in the eyes and said, "Dad, he fits better with our lives now." The word were knives. I wanted to shout, to remind them who had held their hands through every storm, who had stayed up at night when fever spiked, who had worked 2 jobs so they never went hungry. I wanted to scream that their mother had chosen lust and comfort over them, and now her husband wanted to erase me like a mistake. But I stayed silent. I thought back to the day I found out she was cheating. It had been subtle at first, the late nights at work, the distant eyes, the way she laughed at her phone more than at my jokes. When I finally confronted her, she didn't deny it. She simply said, "He makes me feel alive. You don't anymore." That was the day my marriage died, but not my fatherhood. I swore I would never abandon my children the way she abandoned me. And now, years later, they stood before me, asking me to step aside as if all those years were nothing but shadows. I looked at her during that meeting. She couldn't meet my eyes. Maybe guilt still lived in her, or maybe she had buried it beneath her new life. Her husband, however, met my gaze with a confidence that chilled me. He wasn't asking, he was assuming. I wanted to hate my sons for even considering it, but how could I? They were young men, shaped not just by my love, but by their longing for a mother who had left them. Maybe this man filled the empty space she had carved out. Maybe they saw in him the stability she had denied them. But I also knew this. Adoption isn't just paperwork. It's a declaration. It's erasing my name from their story. And that I cannot allow. That night, I sat each of them down one by one. I didn't lecture. I didn't beg. I told them the truth. I told them about the night their mother left, about the tears I wiped away, about the sacrifices I made when no one else was there. I told them love isn't measured by wealth or charm. It's measured by who shows up when the world falls apart. They listened, their faces heavy with conflict. And when I was done, I didn't ask them to choose me. I only said, "Remember who was here when no one else was." Days passed in silence. My ex-wife avoided me. Her new husband grew impatient. And then one evening, my eldest knocked on my door. He didn't say much, just hugged me and whispered, "We know who our father is." The adoption never happened, but the wound remained. My son still spent time with her and her husband, and I allowed it. They deserve to know both sides of their family, even if one side had once betrayed them. Still, every time they came home with stories of the man who fits better with their lives, a part of me broke. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from the very people you gave your soul to. My wife betrayed me when she left for another man. But the deeper cut came years later, when my sons, blinded by the illusion of a perfect family, considered replacing me with him. I don't blame them. Not anymore. They were just searching for something they thought they had lost. But I know the truth. Love is not about greener pastures. Love is about staying when the grass turns brown, about holding on when the storms hit. And though the world tried to erase me, I remain what I have always been, their father. Not perfect, not wealthy, not polished, but present, always present, because real fathers don't leave.